an opportunity to interact and to share and to cross these different barriers, these different just conversation things, because sometimes people, they get stuck in labels like, oh, them people over there, or those people, these guys are over here, and it's like, at the end of the day, we're all human beings. We all have something in common, as far as maybe not the main things, but we have certain things we're passionate about. And if you're passionate about cars, or you're passionate about sports, or you're passionate about maybe outdoors or architecture, find people that share your passion, and that way you can find your tribe. You know what I mean? Somebody asked me about oh, what's his name. I don't really give it 2 cents, man. People get caught up in a lot of these. There's a lot of these guys on the internet, right? It's like, if you're, it's like, how important. And I'm just saying, man, I mean, I'm on here, I share my channel, but at the end of the day, these people who are like, acting like they're so important, as far as like influencers, and they're telling you stuff, what are they really contributing, man? I mean, if they're creating value in life and helping other people, then that's something different. But a lot of these guys, they let the ego get to them, and they let it go to their head. And I don't know, man. I try to stay grounded. Um, I know a lot of people base somebody's wealth off of their material items. A lot of guys, they get a lot of material things, and they think now they're the shit, and it makes them somebody. Well, that shit don't make you, man. What makes you is what's in your heart. And man, come on, dude. You're a straight clown. You're a straight clown. Ain't nobody gonna split my wig, you punk. But anyways, a lot of people out there, man. They just like to stir shit up. They would love to create a beef, but I'm beefing for what? I'm rolling with God, man. I ain't got time to be worried about people out there who are so petty, man. And it's not worth the energy. Not worth the energy. Let me see if I can see. Arizona life is good, man. I can't complain. One of the best moves I made in my life, coming out here, has really given me an opportunity to be more creative, to spend time with my wife. I got two little dogs now, my little girls, and it's like, got a family out here. So yeah, man, it's really worked out. You know, um, I'll admit, sometimes I put stuff on my channels to entertain you guys, because the algorithm, when I talk too positive, or too much like motivation stuff, the channel gets, I lose subscribers. So that's one of the reasons why I put like certain gossip things on, because that's what the algorithm is. It's sad, but the algorithm is gossip, bro. YouTube is like, unless you're this guy, and you got like a hell of a what do you call, like a PR team. If you're just doing like organic stuff, and you're sharing a real good message, a lot of times people will be ducking you, man. What up, people tuning in on the car channel, Muscle Up Car Lifestyle? Thank you, man. Um, I'm in AZ now. If you guys are out here and you're doing car show stuff, make sure you guys tap in with me. Info.bigherc916 at gmail.com. Um, would love to meet up with you at some of these car shows. I plan on doing some drives here real soon. Just trying to network with a lot of people, and just tap into the community out here in AZ, man. Meet new people. Um, a lot of people ask me, what's up with, like, Big Herc, I didn't know you were in the F1. Well, F1 has kind of taken the place of watching football and basketball. I don't really watch a lot of other sports. So here and there, me and my wife watch F1, and try to watch a good movie here and there, something that's heartfelt. You know, I like a good script, and you know, just trying to stay really in a good state of mind. No, I didn't move to Texas, man. I moved to Arizona. So I'm just a hop and skip from California. I do watch a lot of UFC. Me and my wife usually watch UFC whenever they have the big matches. I do like some boxing. It's just like it's not like what it used to be. I like watching the old boxing, but I am a boxing fan. Um, what's up with you guys out there? And everybody who's been rocking with me, man. Um, I thank you for really supporting the channel and getting behind us, man. As somebody's asking me about Badger, I haven't talked to him, bro. Badger, you know, if you guys know, I put him on years ago, and then he kind of started doing his thing, man. And I don't keep tabs on a lot of people. There's a lot of people that were on my show, but I don't really, you know, communicate with these people unless, you know, we do a second interview or something like that. But yeah, Badger, man, he got caught up in that case in LA. And I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him, man. I hope he's all right. I know he was really sick and he was dealing with some health problems. So yeah, man. Yeah, I really, I don't know, man. I was looking at something today with my wife about the 70s, and I was born in 73, and man, you know, the 70s was a great time, man. You know, you had a lot of people coming back from Vietnam. You had a lot of people speaking out, great music. Um, it's just different times, man. Like somebody was just saying, Michael Jackson, Prince, the Doobie Brothers, Leonard Skinner, Led Zeppelin. You know, it just was a different time. Even the early '80s. You know, I think that to me was the golden era of hip hop, and things have just changed. You know, some of the music today, I don't listen to it like I used to. I mean, it just changed, man. Times have changed, man. I'm trying to see. I think did somebody leave something? Oh, I can't see it. Um, I was trying to tap in. I thought somebody left a message. But my favorite boxer, I tell you, man, I grew up watching. I watched a lot of the greats, man. Hagler, Hearns. Um, oh, thank you, man, for being a huge fan, man. Appreciate it. Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield. My favorite boxer, probably growing up, was Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray, man. Um, what are you doing here? What's up? What up? Yeah, man. He was like he was something else, man. Sugar Ray, man. I watch his old fights and man, you know, great boxer, great inspiration, articulate man. One of my favorites, man, is Sugar Ray Leonard from back in the day. Um, he had hands, man, and the guy just, dude, he fought everybody. See, you know, back in the '80s, the late '70s, early '80s, these fighters weren't ducking nobody. You know, Sugar Ray in his prime, bro. Roberto Duran in his prime, um, Marvin Hagler. You got somebody who I forgot. Like, I'm drawing a blank right now, but everybody in the middleweight class was a hitter, man. There wasn't nobody in boxing in the middle. Like Sugar Ray and them had a fight. They were fighting dudes that everybody was like, they were monsters. You know, it, it, uh, it's like you watch old Roberto Duran. Roberto Duran, I think he grew up in Panama. He lived in the slums, bro. That dude, man, these guys would have like almost 100 fights before they even turn pro. You know what I mean? Yeah, the Jake Paul and Joshua Anthony, man. They're trying to make boxing. It's like everything's a joke now. It's like, come on, man. It's these, it's not the same, man. It's not the same. It's a joke, man. It's embarrassing the guys who have a legacy, and I don't know. I'm an OG boxing fan, but today a lot of these guys they're not cut like that, man. They're not cut like that, man. You watch some old Hagler, a Sweet Pea, Pernell Whitaker, man. You know, yeah, man. Just a different time. Thanks for subbing to the car channel, Muscleup Car Lifestyle. What's up, Mobile, Alabama in the house? Yeah, the standards have changed. The standards in a lot of things. I'm an old school car guy too. I think like the older cars with the creativity, the design. I don't know, man. A lot of stuff today just seems fake and plastic, man. You don't get the quality. I think like the early '90s, as far as cars, is the cutoff. So yeah, man. It's just I don't know, man. I'm an old soul, man. I'm an old soul, so I like things that have a story, things that have more of a history to them. And like I said, I'm trying to, start doing the lives again and reach out to you guys and just build with everybody in the community, man. What do you miss in your 30s and 40s that isn't available today? 30s and 40s, I think this is the thing, like, I guess when you're young, you feel invincible. When I was in my 20s, I could still dunk a basketball, all the way up into probably my late 20s. And, you realize your athleticism changes and, your what you value in life, what you look at that you want to get out of life changes, your goals, the people you want to hang out with, you value your personal time. Like right now, I would rather just hang out by myself, drawing or painting or with my wife, than to entertain myself with people that are fake. So yeah, man. I just you kind of realize that there's no need to have fake people around you. A lot of people, they come around when you get nice things, but they're full of shit. Herc, how do you feel about creating all this new lingo that your viewers? I didn't even really think about it, man. I just kind of I just flow with it. Over an ex, I already had a new man 2 months. How do you get over an ex? Man, you gotta just kind of move on, man. I feel like at a point you either grow closer to somebody or you grow apart because you're constantly evolving. And so if you're evolving, you gotta have somebody, they gotta evolve with you. You're never stagnant. I mean, some people, maybe they feel like they're doing the same thing they were doing 5, 10 years ago. I know I'm not the same person I was a year ago. Every year I see like things I thought about, or maybe I've written something down and I realize how much my opinions have changed. Oh, you actually, yeah, my favorite boxer is Sugar Ray Leonard. I'd have to say Sugar Ray. That guy was he was vicious, man. Say a prayer for the struggling men out there. Yeah, man. You know, sometimes as men, you feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, and you're not supposed to show any weakness. Like every day, you got to be strong. Maybe some days you feel like, man, I just want to let it all out. And if you're a man and you say, like, for instance, you have uh, an emotional day, and it's not I'm talking about like no bitch shit, but you just feel like, man, I just going through a lot of shit. Well, if you do that openly, sometimes the person you're with, your lady, will try to exploit that. But you want somebody who embraces that and makes you stronger. You know, somebody that isn't going to devalue you because you're a human. We're all human, man. I mean, dude, did you guys see what happened to the coach at Michigan, the head coach who got fired? God, man, that dude, man, he straight train wreck. Now he's sitting in jail. He's sitting in jail. This guy was getting, he was getting 5 million a year, 5.5 million or 6 million a year. He made 8 million, 8.2 million last year. He had a wife and 3 daughters. He's working at Michigan. He's a second year head coach. He hooks up with his assistant, busts her cheeks, gets her pregnant, makes her get an abortion, bumps her salary up, and then they say that later on she goes to the Michigan staff and tells them what happened. He gets fired. He flips out, threatens her, goes to her house, sends her texts. He's stalking her. His whole world crumbled, man. And now the dude is in jail. They said he, wanted to take his life. Oh man, it's just that's so crazy, man. You guys don't get caught up like that, bro. I mean, I know, we all have moments, but it's like, and you put yourself in situations, but you got to remember, man, at the end of the day, is it worth it? You know, is it worth it, man? And this guy, he went from 8 million a year to sitting in a jail cell for committing a crime, a really stupid crime, man. Threats, stalking, and some other shit. But hey, man, don't wish that on nobody, man. But you got to be careful out there, man. You'll be tested. You'll be tested, man. Um, what's a good book on God? Cause I'm having struggles believing. What's a good book on God? Somebody just asked me. Um, huh? The Bible's a great book. I mean, some people find it confusing, or maybe they just they read it, but it doesn't resonate. Um, the Bible, sometimes just open a page and read a verse. The cool thing about it is, like, I know a lot of stuff has been removed and suppressed because of just the information. For myself, what helped me get through some of my roughest times was a book called Conversations with God. I read that book a bunch of times in prison, and I would also read the Bible. Um, and there's nothing wrong with praying, man. There's nothing wrong with praying and asking for guidance, asking for strength. Trying to carry the weight of things all by yourself. That's what God is for. He's there to guide you, to have your back. You know, um, if you believe and that um, Jesus Christ, sacrificed, then and you're baptized and put your faith in the Lord Savior. But we're not perfect, man. None of us are perfect. I'm not perfect, and I don't try to be so self-righteous that I have all the answers, or just because say you stop drinking or you don't do drugs, it doesn't make you better than anybody, man. You know, it just means that you've made a choice. Some people are going through different struggles. Some people are going through different phases in their life, man. You got to find your path, and and figure out, like, well, what your truth is. Basic instructions before leaving Earth. Yeah, yeah. Um, but for myself, man, we all have had vices, and you got to find something to replace that vice. Like, if you're if you're a drug addict, maybe you start working out, or if you're an alcoholic, maybe you change your diet or start hanging around different people. You got to change those habits. I mean, some people, it could be a number of things, man, that you're caught up in, but you got to find something positive to replace it with, man. Um, Everybody on Instagram. So I got like 3 streams going here. Uh, but people love hearing about fights. Yeah, entertainment. We're in a society right now where when you dumb shit down, you get paid. When you're doing stupid shit and you can't talk right, you talk like you have broken English, and you act ignorant, you're rewarded. People who are doing the right thing, people who are very successful, a lot of times they're not even on social media because social media doesn't embrace that type of mentality. Um, you got to just decide, man. Do you want to dumb yourself down to fit in, or do you want to be you? Are you really being who you are, or are you acting out what you feel people are um, want you to be? Stay hydrated, take sunshine. So yeah, man. You have to make choices in your life, man. You got to make choices in your life, man. Yeah, I know. Michigan coach, you got caught up, lost millions, millions, man. You know, you work all your life to get to a certain point, right? And when you get there, what are you going to really do? Are you prepared for it? You've seen people crash all over social media. They get all this success. They got the car, they got the house, they're bragging. See, once you start seeing that go on, like the day, if you ever see me doing some stupid shit like that, check me real quick. But, uh, you know, dude, I remember, and I've said this story before. I remember, I'm so grateful that I have the things I have, but I can remember um, being in the halfway house, bro, and I remember I had the same. Maybe I had $150, maybe $200, and that money it just never grew. It just the same money over and over again. Didn't have a car. Um, I used to catch the bus, the red line, the blue line, and the regular transit. And there were times I would catch the bus and go. I remember I caught the bus and went to the mall and walked around. Didn't have money to buy anything. Maybe I think I bought a drink, and I came back to the halfway house. I did it just to get out of there, but I was so grateful for being out. Now I'm gonna keep it 100. When I got out, I always had it that I was gonna be successful, right? I had a standard. I wasn't gonna be no bum ass. You know what I mean? There were certain things, and that's just me. If you don't, some people ain't into cars, or they don't care about like looking proper when they go out in public. But for myself, I always had these goals, right? So I got a little bit of bread. Not really bread. My homeboy sent me some money that I met in the pen, and he helped me buy my first car. And I bought an old South Sac. What's up? I bought an old Mercedes 4 door. I think it was a four, a four something SEL. I forgot the model, but it was a 4 door. That thing didn't go over 60 miles an hour. Something was wrong with the engine, man. It ran like shit, but I would drive that car, and it'd be a challenge to get back to the halfway house, because if you had a car, it would allow you an extra hour or so to be free. Because if you caught the bus, you needed 2 hours, so you got 2 hours there and 2 hours back. Because I worked in Hollywood, in the halfway houses in South Central. So when I got the car, I was able to kind of maneuver, right. But the car was a bucket, man. It was a bucket. It would smoke, black smoke, and uh yeah, and it it eventually, when I didn't use it, I would let another guy from the halfway house use it, and he would pay me to use the car, and that was like a little hustle. And then the car finally just broke down. But these are some of the things you go through in life, man. So I think about those times. That car, that's the first car I bought when I got out. The second car when I got out of prison I had was I had a 90, it was like a 92 Cadillac Sedan DeVille. Old school, tinted windows. The homie had it and he sold it to me and I was making payments on it. The car, man, it was crazy because it had those lights, when you have your lights that come on at night automatically. What happened was it started doing some weird shit where at nighttime the car wouldn't start, but during the daytime it would start up. So it's almost like the lights were tied into the damn the daylight. But so if I went somewhere and I parked and it got dark outside, I couldn't go nowhere. So that car, man, it was like it turned into a pumpkin at night, man. But I drove that car around and busted cheeks up in that thing, man. That was the first car I had, man. And that was the second car I had. And then after that I had a 94, no what, 80, like an eight, no, late 92, 93 Camaro. How should a man deal with insecurity to become calm? Create value in yourself, man. If you got insecurities, um, work on something to build your confidence up. Like nobody starts off being great at anything. It doesn't matter what you try to do. If you try to paint, you try to sculpt. I mean, I've done tables, I've done canvases, paper, working on cars. Nobody starts off great doing anything, but the more you do something, the better you get at it. So creating value in yourself, like some people, their whole thing is just talking all day, running their mouth. But if you can create something, whether it's put together a table or build a house or build a car or there's something that you can do that in essence gives you purpose. You got to have purpose, man. Purpose is not about just busting cheeks and getting money. Purpose is about like, what are you here to accomplish, man? So you got to have purpose. Somebody keeps asking about OG Silverback. I haven't talked to the guy, man. I put OG Silverback on a long time ago, and then it's cold game because I met OG Silverback in Monterey at Pebble Beach. I put him on, and then he blows up, and he starts embellishing, and then he says some weird shit about me, man. And it's like, what trips me out, man? You help people out, and then they go back and say slick shit that try to build themselves up. It's like, why would you do that? If you're gonna say something, say it to my face, man. But to put shit out there and I know you and you supposed to be cool with me, it's like that's when I see stuff like that, man. I'm cool, man. I can't go backwards on people like that, man. Yeah. One of the biggest things somebody said, uh, one of the biggest things is I feel we need to get back to some family values, man. You know, back in the day, after like say you come home, you do your homework, and then you had your playtime, and then you had time to like maybe watch one show or two shows, um, and then you had like family time. I think we gotta get back to family time, man. It's sad, but a lot of these kids, I see some of these women and they're twerking in front of their children. They're giving their kids guns like they're toys. They're not like teaching them how to hunt or you know or a skill set with shooting targets, but they're doing stuff, and they're very, a lot of people, you might think this sounds funny, but like, you have people now telling young people when the cops pull you over, don't give your ID, to be confrontational. Look, man, the police, the firemen, and the paramedics, don't tell on yourself. I'm not saying you go to the police and start telling them everything you're doing. Oh man, I'm boo boo bop. But roll your window down, bro. Give them your shit. Don't try to be a superhero on the street. It's like, I've been in high speed chases, man. I've been, pulled out the car, on the ground, this and that, man. And look, I'm compliant. I'm not going to sit here and try to go toe to toe with the police. And so you guys, a lot of you guys are setting yourselves up for failure because you try to be a tough guy. You heard somebody on the internet say something and it worked for them, or you think it worked for them, and then you try to say it on the street. Bro, don't get caught up in that, man. Don't get caught up trying to talk slick to the police. When you just mind your business, a lot of times shit plays out. I've gotten pulled over by the police, man, and I remember one time I wasn't even I was parked, and the police was like, I was in South Central, right? I was in a red NSX with my wife. I don't know if I told this story before, but I'm sitting there, I'm parked right in the hood. I'm in the hood. I don't want to drive in text, and it's a stick. I'm in a 94 NSX. It's a manual, so you can't drive in text anyway. So I'm texting. The cop pulls up. I don't even see him. My windows are tinted. He's like, roll your window down. He's looking, and my wife is in the car with me. He looks at my wife. He's like, get out the car. He's like, what are you doing over here? I said, oh man, I don't want to drive in text. He's like, who's that? I said, that's my wife. He's like, your wife? He says, man, what are you doing over here? I said, I had a friend that lived not too far from here, man, and I was trying to get a hold of him, but I'm heading back to the house. He's like, man, you know where you're at? I said, yeah, I'm over here, by USC. And he's like, what kind of car is this? I said, it's an NSX. I've always, huh? Oh, my wife didn't have her ID, so he thought I was over there picking up a hooker, man. He thought I was like, because there was hookers and crack dealers. I mean, this is the bad part of town, man, at nighttime. And so he's like, what kind of car is this? I said, an NSX. He's like, man, get the hell out of here. There's somebody just got shot up the street. And I'm like, okay, I'm out of here. And I got up out of here. But yeah, man, the cop, dude, you just got to talk, man. You got to be cool. Sometimes they're having a bad day, and you never know who they had just dealt with. And, sometimes, you got to give people passes like they give you passes, man. So, I just say sometimes your mouthpiece can be your greatest asset in a situation like that. Somebody said, how do I stay positive in prison, being around a bunch of barbarians? One thing in prison, let me tell you, like, I never called myself a convict in prison. I never called myself a convict. I never called myself an inmate. I would tell the officers, like, you can call me Mr. Timmons, Marcus Timmons, or Big Herc. Check this story out. So I'm in Lompoc, USP. This is 2000. 2000 in Lompoc, USP, it was rocking, bro. Lompoc, nobody ever paroled from there. And they had the cowboys, they called them, the COs at Lompoc. These cats, man, they would get people at night, sometimes hog time. I remember there was a guy I was there with and I was studying law with. He was telling me he was working on some stuff to get out as far as in court, blah, blah, blah. And then he just disappeared. And then the rumor was they said he hung himself in the hole. I'm like, how did this dude commit suicide, man? This dude, he didn't seem like he was suicidal. I'm like, man, this shit is crazy. Yeah, they said he hung himself in the hole, man. This cat, man, I was talking with, very, very intelligent, man. He was in with a lot of high-end people, man. His circle of people he had on the street. He was mentioning some people that were pretty powerful. Lompoc, Lompoc, USP, and the feds, the level of criminality is probably it's a very high IQ. It's not like the state. You had guys there who were kingpins, guys who you wouldn't even hear, you didn't maybe even hear about their cases on TV or the news, but these guys were making millions and millions a month. Some of these guys, like I was low level, bro, or a little bank robber. These guys, but they're doing all day life, life plus 20. One dude had 5 lives. He had 5 lives in 100 years. Um, I don't know how you even get that, bro. 5 lives in 100 years. Yeah, crazy, man. But anyways, the story I was going to tell you guys was the lieutenant. They had this lieutenant, this lady, man. She looked like a little bulldog, man. Um, and they used to call people out. They would like when you come out of the chow hall, they would just look at people and say, "Come here." Have you get against the wall. So it was like you're getting violated every day. Come here, get against the wall, pat you down. If you have anything in your pockets, they take it. You got a cookie, a donut, whatever, they'll take that shit. Get up out of here. They just would mess with people, man. And I remember I came out the chow hall, right? And I'm walking with a friend of mine, and they said, hey. And my friend's like, "Hey, man, I think they're calling you." And I just kept walking. I kept walking, right? And they said, hey, inmate. And one of the other guards came up and grabbed me. He's like, "Hey, man, you hear he calling you?" And I turned around. They walked me back. I'm like, "Yeah, I heard you calling somebody. I didn't know you were calling me. I'm not an inmate or convict. My name is Mr. Timmons, or, you call me Marcus." "Oh, you're a smart ass, huh?" I said, I didn't say that. I just, because these cats would, they would, they would tighten you up in a hole, man. And she looked at me, "Get the hell out of here." And I kept on pushing, man. But that's the type of shit you would deal with in there, man. It's vicious, bro. I mean, for people who glorify prison, who act like going to jail is like, I'm in there calling shots. Man, think about this, right? Who would want to put things in their booty to hide them from people? That's a crazy concept, but who would want to put a shank, a syringe, a piece of paper, drugs? Who would want to put stuff in their booty, bro? You got to put it in your booty, then you got to get it out your booty. Really? Really, bro? You would want to put stuff in your booty to hide it from people, then go push it out, and then you gotta, distribute it if you're selling drugs, whatever you're doing in there, you're shitting it out, and then you gotta divide it up. And then if you get caught, right, if they think you have it, they'll put you in a dry cell, and then they'll wait for you to take a shit. So you shit out a baggie, and if the baggie breaks in your booty, it could be toxic to you and it kill you. It's crazy, man. Your prison pocket, man. I never met Unique Audio, Mecca Audio. I never met him in a prison. I've actually chopped it up. I've communicated with him a little bit. We were gonna try to do a podcast together, but I never met him in prison. You know what's crazy about prison, right? There's a lot of people like I have communicated with now that I'm out. But when you're in prison, if a guy's from New York, a guy's from DC, a guy's from Baltimore, Virginia, Florida, Texas, they don't talk to you, bro. There's no interacting of different states unless you're connected with these guys through maybe some type of dealings on the street. Like even in California, certain dudes in California only talk to certain dudes from California, like dudes from the Bay. They might know dudes from LA, but it's like everybody has their own clique. Prison is so cliquish, man. Like, and you don't want to be in too many people's businesses. So you're not going to sit at a table with dudes from New York because you're not from New York. And then you might not be, then it might be a Brooklyn table or a Bronx table or, whatever the case may be. And then you got dudes over here who might be cool with you and they from Virginia. "Hey, man, come over here and holla at us." You know what I'm saying? You can't do it, man. You can't do it, man. The dudes will cut you up, man. A dude will pop something out and slice your face up, give you $1.50. You know what I mean? So it's crazy, man. You can't you're not really interacting with a lot of guys from different states. I mean, I talk to different people because I did legal work and I knew how to type, so guys would pay me to type up their emotions. But yeah, man, you're not kicking it with guys from Florida. You know, even dudes from I'm from California, man. I didn't. There wasn't not one homie I had in prison that I knew from the street. What up? Nobody. I didn't know nobody from the streets, man. So I had to make all new friends. One thing I can say, a lot of guys from LA embrace me. Shout out to C Down, Giles. Shout out to there are a couple other guys I can't remember off the top of my head, but a lot of dudes from LA embraced me because I was living in LA. I knew a lot of people, and you know, being in adult movies before I got locked up, a lot of dudes felt like, oh man, Big Hurt, what's up, man? You was out there busting them cheeks. That gave me a lot of clout. That helped me out. And it also had haters though. You had dudes in there that would make up shit, you know, try to create conflict. But for the most part, man, a lot of dudes I was able to kind of break the ice because they like, oh man, you was out there doing the movies, you was out there bank robbing, and you know, not to glorify any of that stuff, man, but you know, being in adult movies and then COs when they found out, they'd be like, oh man, they might, you know, turn the other way or treat me a little bit different. And then the fact that I knew how to do law work, I was pretty well educated when it came to like looking up cases and doing stuff, man. I got a lot of respect like that. Um, uh, yeah, let's get into the shout outs, you guys. I'm trying to go through, make sure I get everybody. Why do you think you got not one visit in the 10 years? Were you that hard on people on the outside? No, somebody said, why do you think I didn't get one visit in 10 years? Let me tell you something about my family, right? When you do a crime, your family didn't do the crime. You did it. So you got to have accountability. And I was tight with my family. You know, my mom, I talked to her the day that I committed the crime, man. It was a sign from God and I ignored it. But the prisons, I didn't have like, as far as like the person, the female I was with, you know, that shit went out the window. It's like one of the first things that go when you get locked up is your girl. She's out. Whoop, bye. Unless you're like Mexican, like those Mexican women, they ride with their men. They ride. They ride. A lot of them ride. It's different. Mexican culture, they got a different value when it comes to relationships and being going to prison. A lot of them dudes get visits. Handful of brothers, you got some girls that'll ride with you, but a lot of times they're gone. They're bye-bye. But anyways, like the prison's in the middle of nowhere, right? My family, you know, as far as my mom, brother and sister, she had a, you know, she was trying to, you know, do her thing. She had a family. And I never said, hey, come visit me. I'll send you a visiting slip. These prisons are way out in the middle of these shit towns. You got to go through there. It's very intimidating. Metal detectors. If you have on certain clothes, they can turn you away. You got to get you know, most likely you got to get a hotel because you got to go to the airport and then drive miles and miles. And unless you have somebody like for your people to ride with, a lot of people don't want to go by themselves, man. They don't want to go visit no prison by themselves. So it's a horrible place, man. And my grandparents were older. I mean, I was really close to my grandmother. She was old. She couldn't come to no prison, man. You know, my cousins, you know, I didn't really talk to them like that. So it wasn't like I expected them. You know, the friends I had on the street, fly by night, bro. I didn't really have no, like, homies I was kicking it with all the time and, you know, this and that I can come depend on. So you realize when you get locked up, a lot of people you thought were your team. And like I said, it would have been nice to have a female visit. You know, I tried to write a couple of females, but what it did was the time for me in prison, it was a time for me to reflect. And by not having those visits, it made me a stronger man. It really made me own up to my actions. And it taught me a lot about myself, man. You know what I mean? Being in there by myself and having to survive. You know, I created my own hustle in there, man, doing legal work. They call me Johnny Cochran up in there. So I was helping a lot of dudes with paperwork, man, and motions and shit. But anyway, let's get into the shout outs, man. Where's everybody from, man? Where's everybody from? Let's get the shout outs in. Yeah, it did make me who I am today, man. Of course, they put prisons in the middle of nowhere because they know that it's hard. You know, your family. If you break a man's family ties, you could break a man. Boston, what's up? Wisconsin, Sheridan, Oregon. Oh shit, I did time in Sheridan, Oregon. What's up? Oakland in the house. What's up? Colorado, I see you. Texas in the house. Where else we got? Delaware, Washington. Okay, Toronto in the house. Edwards Air Force Base. What up? You out there in Lancaster, huh? St. Louis in the house. Uh-oh, somebody said North Korea. New Orleans, I see ya. Where else we got out there? D Walls, what's up? Yeah, man. NorCal, okay, NorCal in the house. Yeah, man. Just work on yourself, man, and it's all right to pray. You're not weak if you ask God to help you. It doesn't make you soft. You know, it's all right to call on, Jesus if you feel like you need to help somebody to help you carry the burden. Venezuela, what up? Chicago, what up? You know, because the devil's always waiting to step in and deceive you. You know, the devil, he's your buddy until you get in prison. Then he abandons you and leaves you up in there with the savages. The devil's a cold prankster. Florida, I see you. The devil, he's always working to see how he can trick you and get you lost, man. The next live, I don't know. I have to decide because I don't know what I'm doing next Friday yet. But I'll give you guys a head up on the next live. I was gonna start doing them every Friday, so I'll keep you posted. Minneapolis, St. Paul, Twin Cities, what up? But yeah, man. You guys be safe. Work on yourself, man. You know, you don't have like this is the thing, right? You don't have to necessarily go to church to find God. Just go get you a Bible, man. You know, maybe look at church online, and just read. Man. Sometimes just reading the scripture, man, it'll make you feel better about yourself. You know, it'll give you some sense of guidance, man. Check the Ace of the EFI. Did you ever heard you should check out Ace of the EFI to make an EFI kisser? You know what? I seen the Ace of the EFI. I'm talking car talk over here. I got a guy out here who got my Porsche dialed in. I think the next EFI, if I do it on a small block or I got a 347 stroker, I'm gonna do the Holly Sniper 2. I got a guy and he got the Holly Sniper down and he said he could have my car purring. So I'm probably gonna go with a Holly Sniper 2 EFI just because this guy builds drag cars. And dude, my Porsche right now is running so good. Oh man, that thing's like a dream. It's like night and day. So yeah, the Holly Sniper 2, I think I'm gonna roll with that because I don't know anybody local with the Aces, but I know that the Sniper NF2. I sold the NSX, man. Sancho Lee, shout out to Sancho Lee. I sold the NSX. It was a great car. I did a bunch of stuff, and then my wife didn't really want to drive it. She said it was too low, and it was fun, but it lacked power. I think if it had about 500 horsepower, it'd probably been a perfect car. But I mean, dude, I did everything. Rebuilt the motor, trans, brakes, everything. That car was like from front to back. I redid everything. Spent a lot of money on that car. But I don't know, man. If I get another one, I'm kind of on a Porsche kick right now. I think I'm gonna get another 928 and I'm gonna get a 911. But yeah, the Acura NSX. That car does everything so smooth. It was a smooth shifting, RPMs. I mean, it was a fun car, man. It was a fun car. I had some good times in that car with my wife. Anyways, I'm out. All right, you guys, I gotta grab something to eat. I need to go put some gas in my car. I'm hitting a couple car shows tomorrow. If you're out here in AZ, maybe I'll catch you at one of the car shows. Other than that, have a safe weekend, man. Thank you for tuning in. Everybody out there, wherever you're at, God bless you. Say a prayer for those who are going through struggles. We all go through struggles in life, man. It's all right to admit sometimes if you don't know something, you feel lost. Sometimes I feel lost, man. There's days I'm just frustrated, because I'm trying to go over this hump and I'm trying to do the right thing and be positive and have this high level of success. And you feel like, man, why is it taking so long? But you're on God's plan, man. You're on God's time. God to make it happen when it's time, man. But you can't lose faith. You gotta always, when you think there's, right when you think it's not gonna happen is when it happens. Life lesson I would give my younger self: believe in yourself, man. If I would have stuck with drawing when I was younger, when I was doing this stuff when I was in YA, but I wouldn't be here today with you guys. I wouldn't be doing a show. But if I would have stuck with drawing, who knows, man? I had a clothing line at 16 years old. I might have been a big fashion guy. Who knows? But believe in yourself. If you're a young person now, try to find you a mentor, somebody that you can communicate with, that will maybe give you some ideas. You got to be around people smarter than you, because trying to figure things out on your own sometimes can be hard. I know I made a lot of mistakes. I lost a lot of money, man. I've gotten beat, doing apps. I've lost money doing deals, and it's a part of the life lessons, man. And you just got to keep going. But yeah, the younger self, I would say, believe in yourself. Don't be discouraged. Find something you're passionate about and put your heart into it, and try to find you a circle of friends that believe in what you're doing. So, all right, you guys, I'm out. You guys have a blessed weekend.